We're back.
Ladies
Hello.
and gentlemen, welcome back to Zesty's Best Bets. Zesty, welcome back. It's been too long. Anonymous betting public, nice to see you. Or not see you. However,
Cheers.
however the audience prefers to take that. The man behind the mask. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's been too long. A couple weeks now since we've seen you. Football ended. We made a whole lot of money on the Super Bowl. I hope you followed. In the meantime, since then, Zesty's remained on quite the heater following college basketball. Regrettably so, but we got to do what we can in this dark season of the non-football times. Zesty, you want to get into the last couple of weeks a little bit? Talk about who you bet on, favorites, not favorites. I know Kentucky's on your shit list. Let's start off with the college basketball heater that you've been on, and then we can get into this weekend. See if the heater can continue. Give the betting public what they've been craving, what they've been missing the last couple of weeks, some nice zesty picks so they can follow along and make some money. Sound good?
You betcha.
So, who's the favorite? Who's been carrying you this last couple of weeks? Or has it been a multitude of
it's been a whole bunch of conferences. I love the Big 12 conference. So each game in the Big 12 conference is a slugfest. There might be favorites. One money with BYU. Faded BYU. One money with Texas. Faded Texas. Texas Tech looks like a dominant squad. Fade them. They look terrible. Kansas State. Love Kansas State. One handful of money. Iowa State. Hold on to that for your brackets. Iowa State is going to I don't want to say dark horse to win it all, but they have the capability to win it all. They are Iowa State, so they might get in their way, much like Purdue, but they play defense. They have an offense. They play defense. They play Houston-esque defense. So they played Houston a couple days ago, I think. Maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It is a slobber knocker team, but they can outscore you as well. Really like Iowa State. Kansas, also, everybody wants to knock them down off the pedestal. They've been injured. They're not very deep, but they are very good at their peak. They are a troublesome team. Back to Iowa State. They do remind me a lot of UConn last year. I don't want to get too crazy with them going that far, but UConn last year, I think, was a 4 seed, 3 seed, 5 seed, something like that. Nobody ever really thought anything of it. Then they played Gonzaga, beat the brakes off them. They kind of dominated the entire bracket. If Iowa State gets the same, or not the same, look of who they play, they can match up with anybody that they play. Now, there might be better teams, but I think they can. Their game travels with anybody they're going to play. Same with Houston. The problem with Houston is they lack a little bit of size. They're a little streaky. And it's not necessarily Big 12 here. I'm kind of rambling. Houston can lock you down and outscore you, but sometimes they don't do both. Other than they will lock you down. Sometimes their shots don't fall. Uh, back now, we go to the SEC. The SEC is a very fun conference to watch. If if you're a casual fan, watch an SEC basketball game because they've got a little bit of everything. Um, we'll start with South Carolina. They are the slow play defense, every now and then speed you up. Just about everybody else in the conference, they want to speed you up, shoot threes. Auburn is also a dark horse because if they get the right matchup and they hit shots, that's what they do. They've got a Bruce Pearl at the helm. They play physical ball. They've messed around, beat some teams, played Tennessee really tough until they fell off. Actually, last night. They've got a good inside presence. They shoot the ball. They play defense. They rebound. They play fast. The problem is they don't have the guy. They have a guy, kind of, with Groom or Croom. Watch enough games I should know, but he's more of a drop step inside presence. And he can control, like, he plays a little bit of everything, but he's their inside presence. Now you go to Tennessee, wide open. They got a guy. He just dropped 39. Actually won the game for Tennessee and covered last night. Alabama. This is a team. They can go deep or lose week one. If they don't hit the three, well, they're the traditional NBA. They shoot a three, rebound, get a layup. Or they get a layup, spreading the floor. This is all they do. They don't have set plays. They don't do anything spectacular. They've got a nice point guard, but if it is not working in their if the game script is not working for them, they don't play any defense. Kentucky put 117 on, but that's not a true indication of who they are, but they really don't play defense. They are down there forward. I expect them to play a little better. And now we go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky can win the national championship, lose week one. They they have a top draft pick, but they've also got a senior guy that plays guard too with Reeves. And they've got a couple bigs that are like Kentucky has everything you want them to do, and they're playing kind of what Calipari wants late in the year. They have their hiccup game. They have their good game. They have the shit the bed game. I think they're going to be pretty dangerous. I think MGM, that's their biggest liability for the national championship is Kentucky. They can beat anybody, but they can lose to anybody. ACC, we got our big dogs. Duke.
Garbage this year.
Duke is average. They're not, well, average for Duke. So if you see the name Duke, everybody's gonna think, oh, hey, it's Duke. They've got dudes. They can win games, but they're not impressive.
They'll probably win the ACC. They're just not that impressive.
Yeah, I still think UNC wins it. And then UNC, again, everybody thinks they're high flying. They are, but they can also struggle to score. They're more inside based, fast break. They're not explosive. They're opportunistic, I guess is how I would word them. And then you got Virginia. So Virginia is still kind of Virginia. We all think way back when, with like a smidge of maybe, hey, we need to score offense, but they still play defense, and that's what they hang their hats on. Uh, they got boat raced by, I think it was North Carolina. I don't quote me on that. Clemson's a little dark horse. I haven't really had the chance to watch Clemson, but they've made a name for themselves moving into the tournament. Uh, Pac-12, I've been really balls deep in it. So USC's got all the name and fame. They've been injured all year. They're starting to turn the corner. So you can actually get to the point that you can catch a value betting USC, kind of. Washington State is a really good team. They beat Arizona in Arizona. They're the only team, I believe, this year to do that. Arizona State's also turning the corner. Unfortunately, it's probably a little too late for them. Oregon, borderline. They need everything. So they're playing tonight. Or no, not tonight. Saturday. They were 8-point dogs at home, I think, versus Arizona. And Arizona just wiped the floor with them. So I'd be interested in that game Saturday. Um, Arizona's a cream of the crop. They are bad dudes. They got uh, two really good guards. They kind of control the game. If Arizona loses, it's because they struggle to play their game. They do play their game. So if it's a matchup kind of game, I can see them being upset. Um,
Anything outside of the Big Five or big conferences? You won any money on Indiana State and that big dude yet?
no, I actually haven't had a chance to watch or even participate in a bet. There is going to be some Cinderella games this evening. In fact, like San Francisco, they're going to break some hearts. San Francisco is a team. Uh, I would love to come with some ammo, but I know that they cause. I know they spread the floor and cause issues. Same with St. Mary's. Like I think all three of those teams, Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and San Francisco, if I had the chance and it's ever available, which I highly doubt it will ever be, I think all three of those win a tournament game unless they match up. I highly doubt they match up against each other. San Francisco's obviously outside looking in. The Mountain West, I think they have 7 that are going to make the tournament. So we've got New Mexico,
Represent.
New Mexico, up and down. All they want to do, up and down. Uh, Utah State, similar. San Diego State plays a little defense, but they've kind of evolved. They want to get up and down. Uh, Nevada, I don't know if that was one of the 7. Colorado State. And no, I'm slighting somebody, but Colorado State, they look like one of the best teams around, and then they look like shit. So they're hit or miss. Utah State, again, run and gun. They can cause problems for the right matchup moving forward. San Diego State, like I said, they're just a tough matchup for. I don't want to say everybody, but they are a tough matchup. They're one smaller school you probably don't want to match up with. I'm not saying they're great. Um, I know I'm missing somebody. Uh, Nevada, they just beat Colorado State. They're still good. They've historically been troublesome. UCF in the Big 12, they're troublesome. South Florida, they're troublesome. Wake Forest in the ACC is a good team as well. Whether or not they make it, I think they're on the outside looking in. Utah and Colorado on the Pac-12. Utah's kind of been fading. Colorado can't win on the road. If they get in, they could be problematic on a matchup, but those are more matchup-based teams. More if it was slower paced team versus a fast paced team. Haven't talked about the Big Ten. Chime in at any point in time, but Purdue is still Purdue. They're bullies. Illinois, very good team. I personally have more questions about Purdue than some people because they play through a big man and they don't. They shoot well. I don't have the stats in front of me, but they do get bogged down. Northwestern, however, 2-win tournament team. I will slap that down. Northwestern is a fucking ball club, and they're not going to be ranked very well. They're going to be a 10 that beats a 7 or whatever, and then whatever. That's probably who they're going to be. They're going to win 2 games. They're going to be very difficult. Illinois, I could see the same thing. They're going to be probably higher ranked. Michigan sucks. Ohio State sucks. Iowa sucks. Michigan State sucks ish. But they were so highly ranked and they fell from grace so quickly that I think they might get a little leniency. Same with like Memphis. Memphis was the same way. They were so highly ranked that they might fall in. I don't necessarily think either one of those are great teams. Minnesota also could be a sneaky team. They've played very well in the Big Ten. Wisconsin, they're on a downturn. I don't even know if they're going to make the tournament. Even it might even be to the point that they need to win the Big Ten just to get in. I think they've lost 4 straight. Nebraska,
5 straight.
5 straight. So Nebraska, them Cornhuskers,
Yeah.
can't win on the road. But God damn it, they're a pretty tough team too, at home at least.
And they have one of the best facilities in all of college basketball.
Yeah, I don't know how that translate to road games. Then we go to the Mobster division. St. John's, very sneaky. They play the tournament at their home, so it's essentially a home field advantage. I don't know if they quite get the top 4 to get the bye, but it's literally in Madison Square Garden where they play, or play enough to where it's a home field, or not home field, but home court. Marquette, very sneaky, nasty team. They just get after it. They score. Really haven't watched a lot of them, but I've paid attention to what they do. They get after the ball. Creighton beat UConn. Everybody, of recent memory is going to think, oh, they're bad as can be. They were highly ranked as well. When they beat UConn, they shot damn near 70% from the field. It's just not applicable. But Creighton does play defense, so they are a viable squad to play or bet with, depending on the matchup. And then to finalize it, UConn, they might be a shooter away, but they still might be the most complete team because they can attack the basket. They can play slow. They can play fast. They can play defense. They can almost outshoot you, but they have the ability to adapt sets. I mean, they'll run set plays and get an easy bucket here. Like UConn, I still believe is one of one, even though Houston is one. Houston's very good. They just don't execute the offense that I think UConn could. And that's
So
60
if you
minutes.
don't know, yeah, if you don't know what the college basketball landscape is after that, that's on you. But call it what you want. Say it's long-winded or whatever. You have a full grasp of the college basketball landscape after that. I'm speaking to our harshest critic, of course. Look, let's get into this Saturday.
It's good,
and
good to have critics.
Give him those picks that he so desires, or maybe a favorite or two of the weekend.
Yeah, give me one moment.
No problem.
Well, we had talked about Florida, I think, and South Carolina, and then Kansas, Baylor, I believe, are the 2 games that we definitely want to preview. We'll let the gentleman Zesty get into those in just a moment here. And both of those are on the relatively early slate, so 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. respectively.
Yeah, there's going to be a full day of games after that, including some NBA. And I know Zesty also talks about getting into the NBA. He's been betting NHL. there's
I'll
potential
go out
for
on
some
a limb
Premier
here.
League action.
I'll go out on a limb here and say that Illinois, Wisconsin will have money thrown on it.
Yeah, I mean, even just based off what he just mentioned about both teams.
Kentucky at home against Arkansas.
Yeah. Kansas, Baylor, Kentucky. It seems to be some definite bets going on. Love to hear what he has to say about Oregon, Arizona happening at noon on ESPN. And that's kind of, we'll continue to ask about, the games that I may see myself watching. I mean, that's my favorite thing to ask Zesty, because more than likely we end up throwing my money on those games. It's not going to be the thousands of dollars that you see the Zest throwing up, but it's what I'm curious about. I want to hear his takes on everything that I might be watching over the weekend. That Marquette Creighton game on Fox is a huge game. Definitely going to be a ton of eyes there. So, how about you,
But we can't
Anonymous?
overlook Holy Cross against Boston University. That is a powerhouse matchup. We must know the answers to.
Easy Northeastern. Nobody watching that game but you, dog.
Yeah, go Terriers.
I
Go
don't
Terriers.
have an interest. Go Terriers, he says. No, I am curious. Though. The fact that you know that their mascot's the Terriers just shows the level of degeneracy here, because there's really no reason for anyone to know that. But when you look at the SEC, we talked about them being really fun matchups for a conference across the board for conferences, right? And good fun to watch league. Florida, South Carolina this Saturday. South Carolina at home. They're ranked 18. Florida's now 24. We don't know what the line's going to end up being at this point. But what do you look for in this game in terms of, a stat that points you one way or in another, or, styles of play? What's most important?
It's 100% styles of play here. So Florida's going to speed you up. That's what they want to do. They gave Kentucky problems. That's one of Kentucky's. I know we're talking Kentucky again. One of Kentucky's biggest issues. And when they started playing really well, they played defense. Kind of. They just were slower and equally efficient in offense and played maybe some defense. Florida's very similar. Florida is a dangerous team. They have a big. It looks like a fucking volleyball player. In fact, I think he is a volleyball player. Very, very good college, big, but they have guards, and man, they shoot the lights out of the ball. South Carolina, they are half of that methodically, but can speed you up, playoff script. They're what everybody wished Virginia was years ago. So they're not playing it to pass, shoot with 5 seconds because you have nothing left and you're just draining the clock. South Carolina moves the ball. They're very efficient with their offense, their half court offense, and then do speed it up. But on the other side, they play really good defense. And I've mentioned that several times, but Texas A&M, I think, has the best 3-point defense either in the league or the conference. I don't really remember. Doesn't equate to wins because they struggle so much on the offensive end. They can't shoot the ball. So South Carolina's a little bit of the mix. It would not shock me for Florida to be favored, South Carolina to win.
Yeah.
A little bit of I don't expect a large number one way or the other, but if I were to make without looking at anything, just thinking, I would say Florida is probably -1.5 to -3 ish. I don't think he gets a 3. More Florida's been rolling. They're ranked. And if that's the case, I'll jump all over South Carolina. I'm on South Carolina anyway, but obviously the number would change that. It's tough to pick a number without knowing a number, but that's kind of how I see the game. Another team I didn't ever mention for the future, the Florida Atlantic. Pretty little nasty team to think about. If
21 wins,
yeah,
11-4 in the conference.
Yeah, if they make your bracket, I'm not gonna say they're multiple win team or whatever, but I don't think I'd really want to play them. They match up pretty good.
Are they a get in no matter what team, or do they need to win that conference championship?
I don't know that. I think they're with.
I don't even know what the fuck the American Conference is.
Yeah, it's like Memphis, Wichita State. I think they're positioned well enough that they probably are going to make it regardless. But I don't really know that, to be honest with you.
We'll worry about betting on them once the brackets are set.
Yeah, buddy. The next big game, just scrolling down the list at the 11 o'clock, Kansas Baylor. I think Kansas is going to be a dog in this game.
Even after the loss to BYU, you don't think they'll get the dead cat bounce?
I don't. I'm not saying I'm not going to bet Kansas. I just don't think they're going to be favored. I think they're going to be dogs. I think Kansas wins. So Baylor has two perimeter players that are one specifically that's NBA, but they've got two that are pretty legit. Well, excuse me, two NBA players. They've got Nisi, I think is his name. He's not even a stretch 5. He's just a 5, give or take. But Kansas's biggest issue is they don't have a whole lot of depth, and I don't know if can't even think of his name, but I don't think he's going to play. So they're running about 6 people deep, maybe 7, adding a couple guys. So they're less talented, but like I said, coming off a loss, primetime game against some kind of rival. Baylor doesn't like blow the doors off of VU, but I would say the line probably opens Baylor -2.5. Would jump all over Kansas. I think Kansas wins outright. Now, if the line's different, again, without knowing the line, there might be some buyback. But initially, I would say Kansas is a dog, and I would bet them. Illinois, Wisconsin. Illinois is probably going to be at least the 4.5-point favorite. Really wouldn't touch this game just because both of them are a little schizophrenic. Illinois plays down to their competition. Wisconsin's on a little bit of a slide here. the line might be inflated, but even if it's inflated, I don't know if I can back Wisconsin. So it's kind of a I might, once I know, maybe play Illinois specific on the team total. But that's about as far as I go. Kentucky, Arkansas. Arkansas is not very good. Kentucky just came off a late win. Who knows what the hell Kentucky's going to do, but they're going to be heavily favored. They might blow the doors off. This might be one of the few Kentucky games I don't bet unless it's team total. I might flirt with the team total over. I can almost guarantee they're going to set it at 85.5.
Pretty much everything that helps.
Probably not a play. So Oregon, Arizona is going to be interesting. It's going to be a large number for Arizona, and I actually think Arizona is going to cover. And they're probably going to win a lot of money book wise on it. So Oregon needs it. But Oregon played last night, and that's 3 days. So it's not uncommon, but the matchup just doesn't work out for Oregon. I don't think Oregon's a bad team. Arizona at home, they did have that one loss, and that was a couple games ago. Arizona just outflanks them just pretty much with everything. They're not. I would say I would be shocked if it's not Arizona minus 8.5 at least.
Yeah.
And I do. I think they win by double digits. I'd be interested to see where that line. Oklahoma State, Texas is interesting. Texas needs it. Texas is better, I guess. But Oklahoma State, kind of like football, just scrappy, annoying. But I think Texas is a really good bubble team. I I would say Texas probably blows the doors off of Oklahoma State. Um, Marquette, Creighton. Marquette's probably going to open 4.5, probably. I think I would back them. Hell,
What channel is that on Fox?
yeah. Well,
It's on Fox.
I don't know that for sure, but I'm pretty certain that they are on Fox. It's going to be a marquee matchup. They're going to have a large number. People are going to be like, "What?" Marquette is a really good team. Anything, honestly, anything under 7, I think I'll back Marquette. Um, it's tough to guess. I mean, these lines are going to come out.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? But uh, Creighton is going to be one of those teams that you see a line like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Unless Marquette shits the bed completely, they're going to win by double digits. Obviously, they're not going to put the line at double digits, but moving down. USC Washington might have some value on USC because Washington's going to be favored. Like I said, USC is starting to get healthy. They're playing better. I think, yeah, Washington just beat the brakes off UCLA. So they're probably going to get some love. UCF Iowa State is going to be interesting how they weigh it. Iowa State's probably going to be, I would say, double-digit road favorite. UCF might have some value there, depending on the line, just because I think they play well enough. And I think very highly of Iowa State. It's just it might get a little inflated. Northwestern. Duke, Virginia could be interesting. Duke's probably going to be, I don't know, 4-point favorites. That might be a little much. But again, Virginia's not amazing. If I were to play that game, depending on the line, I might fade Duke's team total on the under.
Yeah.
Washington, UCLA, or Washington State,
Clemson, Notre Dame.
Clemson all day long. Notre Dame's a shit program.
I was gonna say they're not very good this year, right?
No, they're pretty sad. Clemson's actually been rising up of recent anyway.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Kansas City, or Cincinnati, K-State. It wouldn't shock me if K-State was a road favorite. I would favor Cincinnati in that. Purdue, Michigan State. You would think this would be a letdown, but I would say Purdue just beats the piss out of Michigan State. But I haven't watched any Michigan State games, so I think this is a rematch. So I'm pretty sure I watched it. New Mexico at Boise. Boise beat New Mexico in New Mexico. You might get a lower number for New Mexico. I think New Mexico might just put one on them. Houston on the road at Oklahoma. You might get a decent number. Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes here. Tennessee, Alabama. I can almost guarantee Alabama's minus 3.5. And it's really tough not to take Tennessee. I'm not a huge believer in Alabama. I think they're incredibly flawed with several things, even though they're high ranking. And this, I believe, is for the conference lead. So I would take the dog. I think California probably beats Utah, even in Utah. I think Utah's spark has worn thin. TCU BYU. This is an interesting game too. Complete contrast of play style. BYU wants to shoot the ball. TCU plays a little wide open, but they're you know, by the books, play defense. They did just play Baylor and kind of got punched in the face, myself included. BYU at home is a tough team, so I do think the number is probably going to be a little larger than you'd expect. I would say BYU probably opens 5.5. I don't know if TCU actually wins, but I think they come and actually play ball. Gonzaga St. Mary's, everybody's favorite matchup here. I think Gonzaga just beat the piss out of fucking San Francisco naturally. um,
Could be a letdown. Not really. St. Mary's had a trip game this against
we were
somebody
saying,
shitty today.
yeah, Gonzaga's gonna be favorite. So St. Mary's is gonna be home dog. That'll be
Undefeated in conference this year.
yeah, they'll be a home dog for sure. But it'll be interesting to see what it actually lays. We're getting.
They've got 5 guys who score double digits. I guess their 5th guy's 9.8 points per game. But I like that. Spreading the fucking love.
Balanced attack.
Too balanced.
St. Mary's is going to be tough. It's just they already beat Gonzaga at Gonzaga. Just I don't see a double dip there.
Yeah.
They're going to be a dog. I can almost guarantee you. No matter what,
As
will
they should be.
which, yeah, a matter of what the dog is on the side, but Gonzaga's going to win that game. Rarely that's not a chalk bet.
No, St. Mary's tough at home, so be a good game.
Oh yeah, it'll be very interesting to watch. I love the hell out of watching St. Mary's. They play like old man ball. They're like very good at it. So
They got massive below the rim game.
yeah.
I hope you're wrong about Utah. If they choke here, they're definitely not in.
I think they're still gonna need a run and who do they play?
Yeah, they got Cal.
Cal.
Yeah, I hope they're I hope I'm not wrong either, but I still think they need a win at least depending on where they seed, a win or two, just to like. So Cal is not a joke. USC is not the easy out it once was. UCLA is trending down. I think they lost 3 straight now. Naturally, fuckers. They're so borderline. It's like them or Colorado. Colorado just beat the brakes off of them. So,
Yeah.
and it was at home. Colorado sucks on the road. So, who knows? But at least the Heat covered my 2 bets. The rest of them fucking shit the bed.
Heat looking good for you, huh?
The Heat
Is
covered
that
the
game
2.
over?
Yeah,
Nice.
they covered the 6 and the 12.5.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
placed a second half bet on San Francisco, so that's why they got their fucking doors blown off.
You said you've been following Denver a lot, or just betting on them a lot. Do you watch them play, or what intrigues you about Denver, Cody? As we transition over into the NBA, ladies and gentlemen.
I think Denver's the most complete team in the league. They are.
Does it just make you feel more comfortable betting, knowing that
Well,
they're the most consistent team?
some of it's situational.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I haven't even looked at the game. Situationally, and this was half the reason I took Miami, because I think Miami's a good squad too. So it's a little different. So before I put my foot in my mouth, LA expended a lot of uh, resources to win last night. They were plus 10 against the Wizards. Right off the bat, I was like, oh, okay, Wizards are the play, because who the fuck is going to bet the Wizards? So when I looked at it, could be completely, oh, we're in overtime. So I swear I didn't even know that shit. But we're in overtime at 126, tied up. So clearly the Lakers expended a lot of energy last night, back to back. Typically, back to back in the NBA don't do well. Nuggets didn't cover. They did win. They didn't cover. Lakers have 5 minutes to potentially cover, but who knows who the fuck is even playing? I don't even know who's playing. Haven't watched any of the NBA today outside of the little brief with the Heat when they were down fucking 16. Yeah, the rest of the league have no idea where they're at. So who knows? But the two I did know back to back didn't do well. Or one didn't do well, one pending, and it's the Lakers, so they're gonna win by like fucking 3. They're not gonna cover the 10. But who the fuck is gonna bet the Wizards?
No way you could put money on the Wizards this year.
Yeah. So that's
Well,
my biggest thing with the NBA is unless you're really good or perceived to be great, um, trying to look at the lines here. Like even the Bucks, like all of them feel like, oh, we're just so good, we don't even need to win tonight. And then they just erase a 17-point lead. Like I just don't get it. How are you a professional team, have a lead, and give it up? Like it's not. It can't be that great of offense. Like uh, the
yeah.
league is fundamentally flawed. But to that, the Nuggets, I believe, are the most complete team. I think with Embiid, the Sixers are they can break your heart. That's about as good as they're going to be. You know, they can get you to like game 6 or something and just shit the bed. Mavericks are really fun to watch. Ooh, We got
You watching the Lakers?
No. I just looked ahead. We got Mavericks Celtics, and that's who I was just going to talk about. Mavericks and Celtics. They're playing tomorrow, actually.
Luca.
Celtics are 9.5-point favorites. 9, called even. I don't trust the NBA enough to fucking believe that kind of shit, but I think I would. I think the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are better than they think, and the Celtics. I think they're the best team in the league by like 10 games or some shit like that. Like they're doesn't mean anything, but the Mavericks definitely don't play defense. And then Minnesota is very exciting, but they don't play any fucking defense either. Not that anybody really plays any defense, but Friday's got a Pacers Pelicans verse 2. That's gonna be Pacers are pretty exciting, but those were the teams that were putting up 250 points a game. They're not doing this last 9 games or however many games were into it. So you get the Clippers minus 15 on a back-to-back with the Wizards. I would take that.
Yeah, going into OT tonight.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm just saying. Like,
Exactly.
NBA, I think you have to either get competitive or competitive teams to bet aside, or a total on teams that are going to work together for the total, or you bet a team specific total, or you just bet the fucking players for the NBA. Like betting a player in the NBA is probably the best route to go, even if it is uh like for example, wasn't today, wasn't yesterday, maybe it was 2 days ago. I don't fucking know. My days run together. Luca on his birthday, his point total was 32. He scored 30. But he had a triple double. But so his collective went over. I'm almost certain of it, but I don't know what it was. So it's just a matter of there's always a bet to find. Sometimes it's the best bet's not the bet, but um,
You're talking about taking like player props on his scoring total or points, rebounds, and assists.
yeah, or
Okay.
or the team total itself, or for example, like the Pacers Pelicans, it's probably going to be a high total. NBA totals have been on quite a rampant pace of unders, but those are two teams that just run and chuck. You make them, they go way over. I mean, that's just who they are. It's not, if it goes under, it's not fucking defense by any means.
Yeah.
It's not like they're just tightening the belts now. It's just,
it's just
yeah. And I would say,
happenstance.
yeah, I would say the same with the Kings and Timberwolves. So when those 4 teams specifically for Friday, if they go under, It's because the number is so high that they're, trying to come back to it. It's not some of it is team input, but some of it is just, fuck, the casual fans are like, oh, they're going to score 600 fucking points, especially after watching the All-Star. But,
Yeah.
uh,
No, I feel like the NBA too is tougher from a schedule standpoint because you got to watch that more than you do in college, just because college they play a little bit more regularly in terms of the days of the week. But the NBA, a lot of this stuff is matchups. Like just the example we just talked about, the Wizards. It's 1 a.m. on the East Coast right now. They're wrapping up an OT game. Probably not on the plane until 3, and they fly all the way to LA and play the Clippers tomorrow. Like likelihood that you're in good mental shape for that game is pretty low. So
Exactly.
also, if you're going to do any sort of game management or something like that, prime time for a coach to say, hey, whoever it is from the Wizards that they want to rest, time to rest you. So
yeah.
there's a lot of factors that exist in the NBA that I just think we don't have in football. We don't have in college basketball even.
I agree, but the Wizards is shit.
Yeah.
They're playing in the same arena. They're playing the Lakers tonight, the Clippers tomorrow. It's more of the back to back. But yeah, the Wizards are shit. But yes, the NBA in general, I've never seen so many people. So when they, tighten down what you can miss a game for, we got people going out. Oh, he's out for personal reason. Well, what the fuck's a personal reason? Wants a day off? Like they don't even get into that. Like they just can call it a personal reason.
PTO request, dog.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Pretty much.
I still have not dove into the NBA for that reason because primetime games don't even matter. They just pick and choose. All of them, especially like if LeBron's going to do it, and even though he's got a high minutes and everybody wants to argue with that, he knows what he's doing. He's taking games off that either might diminish his like if you play in the fucking All-Star game and you don't play against the Warriors, it sure looks like you don't want to play against the Warriors. And it's not like the Warriors are juggernauts. And I get that they had the fucking Clippers and he's probably looking ahead trying to, that game's more important. They were getting their fucking ass beat. And he started chucking threes. He hit 3 in a row to cut the lead. And it worked great. And everybody's singing his praises. But they don't have, they don't have the luxury to do that. Oh, wait. The NBA is like, oh, you could be 9 and 10th, just be not the 2 worst teams in your conference, and you can still play for a playoff. And then you can make the playoffs and get your ass beat by the number 1 seed. Like, it just, I feel like an old man ranting, but it's just fucking retarded. Like, it just diminishes the entire regular season. But there are spot games that you can catch that, the 2 of them decided, yeah, we kind of care about this. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Luka or Kyrie took tomorrow off. Not a chance. The Mavericks would be like, oh, it's the Celtics. We're just not going to play. That's just
Yeah.
how
That
it
does
fucking
suck.
What do you
works.
mean not playing against the Celtics? I would say that's the opposite. They're going to come out against the better players.
No, I think the opposite. I think they're just like, oh yeah, we're probably conceding. We don't have, not conceding, but be like, oh, it was just a scheduled day off for both of them, conveniently.
I think if you follow the league too, you can kind of judge like pretty easily which games those are. Because I think it just depends. Like sometimes there's nights when players on both sides are gonna just decide, yeah, we're gonna go after it. We have to get this game for whatever reason. Or, a lot of nights, especially early, like we were talking about before recording, early on in the season, those nights are few and far between. But as we get later and later, you can kind of see the writing on the wall when one side or both sides are going to be really intense about it versus, oh, I'm going to sit out, you know.
It's possible. Look ahead, either they're not on the schedule here, but looks like Saturday is kind of a day off for both of them. They don't even play Sunday either. Well, the Mavericks play Sunday. Oh, the Celtics play Sunday too. It's possible that they. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least college, you can't tell if somebody's hurt or not.
Yeah. Well,
At least they.
it's not announced,
Yeah.
broadcast to everybody.
Well, that was a good college basketball intro. And we are now at the point where there is only one more weekend of college basketball remaining until conference championships. So we got a
Perfect
lot
time
to
to
look
start college
forward to.
basketball season.
A lot to look forward to. We'll be doing some bracket previews once that bracketology is set. I'm no Joe fucking Lenardi, so I don't know what the seeds are going to be. But once they got the names on the papers, we'll be taking a look at the papers. So,
Yeah.
For
I just
sure.
want to give us a shout out real quick. At least Cody C. After a couple wins, he wanted to make sure he was glad nobody followed a potential San Francisco following. So he's probably pretty elite in his gambling, and so anytime you want to talk, Cody C, let's have a conversation. Otherwise, maybe you should be quiet again. Until somebody asks your opinion. But anyway, very respected friend of the family here, but world's worst gambler known amongst the group. So go ahead and chime in at any point in time. We like your input.
I think we
It's
need
just
him to.
very sporadic.
I
we
think we
got to
need to
know who to
grace.
fade.
I think we need to grace the audience with his presence, and yeah, maybe get a segment, the fate of the week, something like that going in future episodes.
It's Michigan State every time right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah,
damn
exactly.
well.
We could write it in for him.
We don't need to bring him on the show.
Yeah,
And the Chiefs every week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chiefs every week. Michigan State. Damn well he's like Gonzaga -4. Oh, that's can't lose.
Lock of the
Oh
century,
man,
lock of the year.
I think we've heard
Hey.
him 4 times. It was when we didn't hear when the Chiefs were down 10. Then he
Hell no.
chimes in.
Well,
we can probably edit that out, but that was definitely pointed at him, motherfucker.
it's
Nah, we'll be
no
good.
need to edit.
We keep that content. That's gold, Jerry.
Fellas, we got a whole lot of basketball. Only more coming. Can't believe it's already almost March Madness. Like I said, perfect time to jump into basketball. The NBA is just heating up. And before we know it, we'll have baseball on our hands as well. So, and the hockey playoffs are about to start. I mean, I know you've been dabbling in NHL. Premier League is winding down. I know
What's
you've
that?
been betting. I know you've been betting Premier League, even though you won't admit it to the audience.
Is that spring football that The Rock keeps talking about?
So, ladies and gentlemen, we got plans. We're gonna
No,
try and get Zesty on the social media to get his bets out to you, so you guys can follow along and be just as engaged and intrigued as we are when he just shares his screenshots with us of his winning tickets or losing tickets. You know, it's always kind of unbelievable to see in real time. So we're going to try and share that with you guys more, but we look forward to it. Thank you for joining us for another week of Zesty's Best Bets. Gentlemen, any final words before signing off? That's it for me.
is that La Lingua or La Tokiaka League?
CONCACAF?
What's a soccer?
What is
Right.
football?
This American.
Adios, everybody.
Take it easy.
Bye. Let's